Okay, beautiful ones, let us get started today so we can use our time in the most beautiful, sacred way. And this week we are going to be talking about the field, and the field being the field that we've often known as the divine or God. Same thing, just different words. So just taking a breath of awareness and breathing in the field, and knowing and trusting that the field already lives very much within you. We are always connected. So as we gather together, just acknowledging each other for our journeys, with the ups and the downs and the moments in between. Knowing and trusting we are always connected to Source, to the field, to the divine. And as that connection begins to grow in each one of us, we begin to witness this and deepen into it. So at first it's becoming aware of it. And then even allowing our imagination to just entertain it for a while, until all of a sudden it becomes very real. So let's just connect to this field. Begin to feel the field within yourself and around you. Simply allowing. Breathe as though the universe is breathing you. Recognizing that that goodness is within you as you bring in your breath. And then whenever you exhale, allowing yourself to recognize that you are being held by the field itself. Let your inhale be devotion. Exhale be surrender. Allowing the space between them to be the stillness where spirit whispers, I am here. Remembering the feminine within you is the field's infinite capacity to receive. The masculine within you is the field's radiant stability. And the child is the field of play and wonder. Together they are the movement of goodness knowing itself through form. The divine speaking fluently in every direction of your being. And as you breathe, notice how the fear that once tightened in your chest begins to soften. And awareness itself widens within you. Presence deepens, and the personal dissolves into participation. Remembering you are soul, you are the human, and you are the divine. That is the eternal recognizing itself through you, as you. Can you feel the difference, though, between the one that we named God, that was separate and out there, to something, a field that is within you, that is all around us, that holds us, that God is consciousness itself, and that we are each part of that. So each one of us is here to remember this. You're not here to learn this. You're here to remember this. Each one of us said yes. We said that we wanted to be here in this time frame, this time period, when everything is collapsing and we're witnessing so much chaos on the outside, using our own discernment to say, this dissolving, this collapse, this chaos must be. And then when we can accept that, we become the wave of healing itself. If any of you have been following some of the news, it's a little bit scary. But if we simply allow ourselves to understand that we do not have the ability to understand the grand plan, and that we each said yes to being here, so you're here as a bridge. Each one of you is here as a bridge to hold both the seen and the unseen, to recognize that you're here to remember this, and in your remembering, others will remember too, without you working or striving. And so whenever we witness ourselves in the collapse, it's recognizing, connecting with three parts: the weaver in you, the sacred part of you, the soul, the eternal, and human. All sacred, all beautiful, all divine. And it's allowing yourself to recognize that part of our confusion has been through this separation from what we have always known, but didn't have a name for. And the name that culture was giving it sometimes caused contraction in us. And so by choosing words like the field, consciousness, and goodness, that might allow our bodies to safely bring that in rather than push it away. But ultimately, we're talking about the same thing, something so benevolent, so holy, so loving, that whenever you connect with it, you realize that I am witnessing something within myself. The eternal part of me that is so loving. That will accept and allow all things. And once you feel that inside of you, use your light to send it out. Whether you're consciously sending it to somebody or you're using it to just go out wherever it's needed. And that's the balance of giving and receiving. And so part of our journey is coming back into balance. So healing isn't really about erasing anything. It's about balancing everything. And then remembering that we don't suffer because we're broken. We suffer because we tighten around who we identify ourselves as. And we forget that we are one with the unified field itself. And so each one of us will go through these stages. We each long to belong. And then when we long to belong, we look outside for that feeling that we're so desiring. I want to feel this sense of belonging. But even when we find that, we often still feel this ache. And why do we feel this ache? Because we've separated from our true selves. We've separated from the eternal, from the soul. And then we begin to search for meaning. We seek. We look for. And in that, we often find ourselves drained because we're striving to get somewhere. We want it so badly. And it really is beautiful because it's a part of us that knows that there's something else out there for us, but it's not out there, it's in here. And so finally, when we realize that, you know what, there's places that I can access wisdom that allows me to feel that in my body. Your body is telling you this is true. It's not wisdom because somebody else gave it to you. It's wisdom because it's your compass. It's your guidance. And so when we begin to realize that even if I go out there to access, like say, for example, here, you're here with me, but what's really happening is you're listening to something I'm sharing, and your body is either feeling the coherence, feeling the alignment, it feels good and expansive, or there's something in you tightening. And that's what you're really here to do, is to begin to commune with the body, which is where we commune with the soul, the divine, the eternal in us. And when we finally feel that connection within us that was never outside, we begin to rest. We're no longer striving to get to anything. We just simply allow and be. And there's such a difference. Is there anybody witnessing that, where it's just a moment in time, where you simply allowed and you recognize the difference in you? It's like, wow, I moved through that in a different way. For example, I see myself behaving in a different way than what I used to do when it comes to the birds. I stepped into something different that allows that freedom for me to no longer be so attached to something that I felt overly responsible for, and it caused so much contraction in me. And yet the purpose was always to do something good. And yet it didn't feel good in my body. So something shifted. Did I consciously shift that? No. I stepped into something different. I allowed myself to move through it because I could have easily gone back into the contraction, especially here where we live. It's cold. But my body was feeling contraction. It's not that I stopped entirely, but I stopped over giving. And so I stayed more in alignment with me. And so by doing that, I just set a new timeline for myself. I stepped into a different experience. I opened myself up to more of me. Can you feel this? Can you see how this might apply in your life? This is the point where we're so vulnerable, and we have to realize that we could easily stay in that same timeline, but there is something like the field itself that is giving us the opportunity to move beyond it. And so we have to become very aware of our patterns, not to condemn, but to witness. And that's why these stages are so important for us to become aware that what am I going to do in these moments when I'm noticing? We have been visiting the feminine and the masculine and the inner child. And what's really important to recognize is that when we are in balance, when these three aspects harmonize within us, consciousness itself remembers its wholeness. So we remember our wholeness. We are one with consciousness. We are one with the field. We are one with the divine. And we awaken to that. We remember that. The field is never out of balance. We can be out of balance we can be disconnected, not because that disconnected itself from us, but because we can't recognize the frequency. We're on the wrong station. We are not dialed in. And so it's really becoming aware. Am I allowing myself to be receptive? Do I receive these things without resisting and pushing them away? So that's the feminine, the receptivity. Now, the masculine, beautiful energy too, because that is presence itself. It's direction for us. And so when we are holding our divine masculine energy, we are holding the field of awareness as perfect stability. We are witnessing, judging, we're not condemning, we are not thinking anything is wrong. And you are filled with this love that is beyond words. Now, the inner child, that one is often neglected too, because we often are busy, our life is stressful, and so we're not feeling joy, we're not feeling wonder, we're not feeling awe, and we don't trust in life. So child is all about trust. So it's aware of its own desire to be creative. It's aware of its own desire to be playful. It's the one that can get us to the divine the quickest because it's so innocent and it accepts and it allows. So the more that we can begin to spend time with these energies of wonder and trust and joy and innocence. The inner child is influenced by everything. It's influenced by the masculine, by the feminine, by the ancestral patterns, by cultural beliefs, by trauma, by so many things. So the inner child is in the center of everything. So if we can remember, we're just checking in with our bodies. Am I allowing myself to receive? Or am I resisting? Most of us are very comfortable with the energy of the masculine. And most of us have put that on a pedestal, thinking that is how we measure our worth, our value. And it's even how we think others measure us, based on what we do. Rather than who am I being? And at the end of the day, it will always, always, always come back to who am I being? I find that really sad because I think each one of us has spent a lifetime measuring our value, our worth based on that role, rather than recognizing the divine can only flow through us when we simply allow ourselves to be. Can you see the value in scanning your body and checking in? Am I allowing? Am I even receptive to allowing? And so if we notice that we're in resistance right away, we can know that's my feminine that's out of balance right now. Because I'm not even allowing myself to feel this feeling rather than allowing it. Do you allow yourself the moments to separate? Or do you stay with the story? None of us will go from 0 to 100 and all of a sudden be with the field of God consciousness 100% of the time. You'll have a sliver of it. You'll have a moment of it. Your body will recognize it and it will remember it. It will go into a state of coherence. And then will you hold it? No, this is the journey. So the next thing would be what thoughts enter your mind, because if you stay with the field of love, Love will move you through it. But if you only step into it for not very long, and you don't allow your body to get to that safety, and you don't allow your body to get to that trust, and you don't allow your body to become present and aware, you haven't entered into it. So this is the edge you're pushing up against, stepping into the unknown, into further expansion, into more of your truth, versus staying in the familiar. What's the part of you that's causing the resistance that needs to be loved? So just allowing that part to know itself, to remember itself, to be witnessed. The reason we have this incarnation is to remember ourselves as being divine, but also to understand that we move through duality. We often think it has to be either this or that, rather than understanding that it's both and. You can be angry, but you can be holy. It doesn't mean when you're angry that you have forgotten God. It's just that you forgot in the moment. But that's the moment you get to take yourself back into your center place, into the place that feels like home. And even saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and I thank you. Ho'oponopono. And watch what happens to your field. And then when you enter into the field of divine love over and over again, you will witness yourself starting to rise, that anger starting to come up. And then all of a sudden you'll find yourself thinking different about it, because you'll recognize yourself as divine enough that the divine within you is guiding you, is soothing you, is nurturing you. But we're cut off to that. We don't recognize it yet. And so, for example, this week, I have been paying attention to the news. I think, sometimes I think, why did you do that? But I've also witnessed myself saying, it has to be this way, because if we're moving into a unified field of unity consciousness, there has to be no separation. And the systems that have been built have all been built on places of power and control. And so then I'm being invited to go within and to connect with that which is so loving and benevolent and brings me to tears as soon as I feel it and I know that I'm there. And then I use that energy and I send it out. So until we're comfortable enough allowing what wants to rise up and not pushing it down or condemning it, just letting it surface, we'll always be pushing it away. And what is that pushing away really doing? It's telling the field, I'm not ready. And there's never any judgment in this, because this is the journey. We will continue to do it over and over and over again until we remember we've never been separated from that. So understanding that awakening is not a matter of rising above, transcending, or escaping the world of differences. It allows every aspect of life and honors the soul's journey. The invitation is simply to notice, to relax, and to allow the field to reveal itself as your own deepest sense of being. You are the field. You're going to forget, and you're going to remember. You will weave in and out over and over and over again. But the more that we feel that connection, it will bring you back home, even if it's only in that moment that you experience it. But you consciously recognize my body shifted. My awareness shifted. And it's not fighting anything, because everything that we try to repress, we're just inviting it to stay in our field. That's what that does. So whatever we deny, we keep it in our field of energy and draw the experiences that cause that feeling within us to rise up again. And then we feel guilt and we feel shame, but then you enter into the field of love. And how do we get there? You use something like Ho'oponopono. because you recognize right away, I'm sorry, I forgot I am divine. Please forgive me, like the divine within you, not some God source outside of you. It's that within you that's living as you that you've forgotten is you. Please forgive me for forgetting that I am divine, that I am you, that we are one. I am. Thank you for bringing this to my awareness so I could see that I'm still working on clearing this. And then, I love you. And then maybe even end it with, I am. So how do we want the field to experience itself? Where we've forgotten? Or do we want to remember that we are the field, that we are the divine? This is why breath is so beautiful, because in the breath we can pause, we can breathe, we can open, we can receive, we can allow, we can witness, we can trust. There we go, through the wheel of the feminine, the masculine, the child. Oneness, union. Can you feel the difference of the one that the eternal part of you who has been the traveler with you forever and knows all of your lifetimes, all of your experiences, why you are experiencing what you are in this lifetime, how it serves your remembering? Can you see that without those experiences, you could not witness and experience yourself and remember yourself as being the sacred, the holy, divine? Do you see how duality actually can bring you back into the field of coherence, back into the field of oneness, back into the remembering? And so in every single moment, we get to choose. And it's not that you're being judged for it, but it is setting a reflection to the field. And even when we slip, that counts too. That's not bad. That's actually beautiful, because then you get to use your energy and enter back into the heart and say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and I thank you. And don't recite the words. Feel the words. All of a sudden, you go from conceptual thinking of the field of the divine, of God, source, creator, whatever name, to being. You will witness yourself as that. And you will not be able to maintain it. You'll move in and out. So when we're in alignment, we're right there. All we need to do is take it a step further and enter the breath. Enter the sacred pause, because we can't do anything without the divine, without the eternal part of ourselves. And so what are we doing? We're connecting every day and knowing and trusting the soul will take you where you need to go. It's the soul who's saying, keep going, keep going. I recognize each one of you for trusting yourself, trusting the divine, trusting the soul, even the human tender part of you that has been experiencing this very real journey. Always remembering that you are sacred and that all it takes is one breath for you to bring yourself back into that field of remembering. You are the field. And with that, I send each one of you love, peace, and blessings. I love you all.